Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a pretty remarkable professional story. It's one that really makes you think about, the huge gap between having a global, very specialized career and then, well, successfully shifting into a much more private local life.
That contrast is exactly it. We're tracking the career of Laura Angel. Her journey is fascinating, from performer to director, plus all the major international recognition she received. It's a perfect case study in professional evolution.
Right. The goal is to figure out not just what she did, but how her work was seen, how it was validated by the most respected groups within her industry.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get right into it with the basics. We're talking about Laura Angel, who was born Lenka Gorgasova on October 16, 1974, in what was then Czechoslovakia.
That's right. So her professional life starts in Central Europe, but it almost immediately goes international.
And it seems like it happened fast. The story begins around 1998, right?
Yeah, and our sources have this very specific origin story. She was working as an entertainer in Prague, and some American producers apparently discovered her there.
Just like that. A chance encounter.
Seems so. And that moment just launched her straight into the world of specialized European cinema that same year. It was a very quick takeoff.
And right away, you can see this need to create a professional identity, or maybe multiple identities. The list of aliases she used is, well, it's pretty extensive.
It is. You have Lenka Lvov, Flora Arnold, Patricia McNeil, Penelope. A whole list of names used early on.
Why so many? Was that common?
Oh, absolutely. It speaks to market segmentation, for one, but it was also, a way for performers to manage their legal and digital footprint across different countries in Europe. It's part marketing, part personal separation.
Practical business decision, then.
Exactly.
But if there was one thing, one kind of professional superpower that really shaped her career, it had to be her language skills.
Without a doubt. She's fluent in English, French, German, Czech, and Slovak.
I mean, that's impressive on a resume, but what did that actually do for her career? What did it unlock?
It unlocked everything. It unlocked the entire pan-European market. In the late 90s, productions were still very regional. You had French studios, German distribution, and so on.
So being able to just slot into any of them.
Made her indispensable. Yes. She could be the lead in a French production one month and then headline something in Germany the next. Most of her English-speaking peers just didn't have that flexibility. It was a massive competitive advantage.
And that's how she racked up so many credits so quickly.
That's a huge part of it. The sheer volume is kind of hard to get your head around.
What are we talking about numbers-wise?
Well, the estimates we found range from 150 up to about 280 films as a performer.
That's a huge range.
It is, and that discrepancy tells its own story. It shows how difficult it was to track every single international production, especially, shorter projects or uncredited work. But even on the low end, 150 films in about 5 years is an incredible pace.
And that's just her screen work. You have to add the print media on top of that.
Right. We're looking at 219 magazine covers and 22 photo sets. This wasn't just a film career, it was a total branding exercise across multiple media formats. She was everywhere in that era.
The profiles we have are also really meticulous about her physical stats, which I guess was key for marketing in that genre.
It was crucial. They list her height, 5'8" or 5'9", and describe her, jet black hair and intense eyes. They even have specific body measurements listed. It was all part of building a very specific, commanding on-screen presence.
Okay, so she's established herself as this high-volume, multilingual star. Now we get to her peak era, where she isn't just working, she's leading these major international productions.
Yeah, she becomes a cornerstone for the Swedish-based private media group. And at the time, they were one of the biggest international names out there. She starred in flagship films for them, like Sex Shot and Hell's Bells.
So she was the main attraction.
Absolutely. The central driver of those projects, not just a supporting player.
She was also a big deal for the French producer Marc Dorcel, appearing in films like Alexia and C and Harcèlement Féminin.
Right, and the sources also make a point of her versatility. They note her work in roles that used very specialized attire, leather, latex, that sort of thing. It shows she could appeal to a really wide range of audiences and subgenres.
And this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. This is the pivot.
This is the most important moment of her career, I think. She moves from being in front of the camera to behind it. She decides to take creative control. In 2002, she makes her debut as a director and producer with a project called Angelmania.
That's a huge risk to take, isn't it? To go from being a high-earning performer to dealing with all the logistics of production.
It's a massive risk, but it signals a real desire for creative independence and brand ownership. She wasn't just bringing someone else's vision to life anymore. She was creating her own.
And it wasn't just a one-off project.
No, not at all. This is what proves it was a serious move. Angelmania became a successful 5-part series running from 2002 to 2004, and she directed and starred in all of them.
So she literally built a franchise around her own persona. The IAFD database lines up with that. It lists her total directorial count as 5 films.
Exactly. It's a huge statement. It shows she could manage the business, the creative side, and the performance all at the same time. And that shift is what brings us to the next critical phase, external validation.
The awards. And this is where it gets really interesting for you as the listener, because this isn't about sales figures. This is about critical acclaim from her peers.
Right. And if you look at the awards she won, it's not just one festival. It's a sweep across the most important European centers for specialized cinema. This is recognition of real artistic merit.
Okay, let's start with the Hot Duo Awards in Cannes. For a long time, those were seen as, what, the Oscars of the genre in Europe?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And in 2000, she won the Hot Door for Best European Actress. Just think about that. She was officially recognized as the best performer on the entire continent that year. That's a career-defining award.
Then we go to Barcelona, to the FICI A-Bang Ninfa Awards, where she just kept winning.
She really did. In 2000, she won Best Actress for Alexia and CIA, which was a huge Marc Dorcel production.
And it wasn't a fluke. The very next year, 2001, she wins again.
Right. This time for Best Lesbian Scene in LA, Provocation. And that shows her range. She's being recognized not just for leading roles, but for specific high-quality scene work.
Then comes the validation for her own project, 2002.
This one is maybe the most important. She wins Best Actress again at the Nympha Awards, but this time it's for Angelmania.
Her own film.
Her own film. It proved that taking creative control didn't hurt her performance. With anything, it enhanced it. The project was a critical success.
And she was also nominated for Best Director that same year for it, right?
Yes. And to be nominated for directing the same film you won Best Actress for, that's incredibly rare. It just speaks volumes about how successful her vision was, top to bottom.
And to round it all out, there's the 2003 Venus Award in Berlin,
where she won for Best New Starlet in the European category. So when you step back and look at it all, a Hot Door in France, multiple Ninfas in Spain, a Venus Award in Germany, this is more than just popularity.
This is critical validation.
It places her in a very small group of performers who really defined that era of European specialized entertainment. These are real, tangible metrics that set her apart.
So after reaching that absolute peak, both commercially and critically, she decides to walk away.
A clean break. The sources confirm she withdrew from the business around 2003 or 2004. Her last credited film was Cleopatra. One source mentioned she got married and moved to France right around that time.
A complete exit. But the story doesn't quite end there. The entertainment bug didn't go away completely.
Not entirely, no. She diversified. She showed that the drive to perform was still there. It was just channeled in a different way.
Right. She moved into music. She started working as a singer for various Eurodance projects. It's an interesting kind of bridge career.
It is. We found a specific mention of her song In My Dreams, which was a collaboration with an artist named Sway. It's a classic move, really. Using your existing brand recognition to test the waters in a new field.
Okay, now this is where our sources start to diverge a little bit. We have to do some sifting. We have conflicting information about where she is and what she's doing now.
Right. One source suggests she lives in Tunisia.
But then there's another, more recent and much more detailed entry.
And that one feels more solid. It says she's back in the Czech Republic, living in Pilsen with a partner and a son, and it states she's completely transitioned into a new, very traditional profession.
She's working as a real estate agent.
As a real estate agent. So if we weigh the evidence, the most recent, most specific information we have points to her being back home and successfully building a new career in a totally different field.
It's just, what an incredible arc. You track it from the beginning. A young woman discovered in Prague.
Into her rapid multilingual rise, then seizing creative control as a director for her own 5-film series.
And then getting all that validation, all those awards from Cannes to Barcelona to Berlin.
She then pivots briefly into the Eurodance scene before making the biggest shift of all, retiring from that global spotlight to build a successful and presumably much more anonymous local career.
When you lay it all out like that, from being this internationally recognized award-winning figure in a very high-profile and sometimes controversial field, to then running a local real estate business, the scale of that change is just profound.
It is, and it makes you ask a really interesting question about what legacy actually means. Is it the global fame and the awards? Or is it the ability to completely redefine your professional identity, to find success and happiness on your own terms, completely away from that spotlight? That final chapter, that act of redefinition, it really gives you a lot to think about.